Welcome everyone, my name is Andrew. This is Article 20, Examination and Identification Fees. Section 1 allows physical, mental, or other examinations required by a government body or the employer to be promptly complied with by all employees. Section 2 requires the employee to go through an examination by a company doctor within 3 days after returning to work. Section 3 provides the employee a third opinion in the result that neither the union doctor nor the company doctor can come to an agreement. Section 4 provides information on drivers no longer qualified to drive, alternative work, and Section 5 requires employees to provide full identification if needed. If you want to skip ahead straight to the reading, go ahead and click on the timestamp in the description. Below you can find a link to the UPS Teamster contract, or if you've not already, you can also download the UPS Teamsters app on Android or the Apple Store. This app includes the contract with a handy search function that allows you to find articles and sections immediately important to your situation. I have also included a short links below to help you with installation. Welcome to the last day, Day 5 of Blitz. It has been a long week. With that, let's close off this week with Article 20, Examination and Identification Fees. Article 20, Examination and Identification Fees. Section 1, Required Examination. Physical, mental, or other examinations required by a government body or the employer shall be promptly complied with by all employees, provided, however, the employer shall not pay for any time spent in the case of applicants for jobs, but shall be responsible to other employees only for time spent at the place of examination or examinations where the time spent by the employee exceeds 2 hours, and in that case only for those hours in excess of said 2. Examinations are to be taken at the employee's home area and are not to exceed 1 in any 1 year unless the employee has suffered serious injury or illness within the year. Employees will not be required to take examinations during their working hours unless paid by the employer for all time spent. Employees shall be given reasonable notice of dates of examinations. For those drivers subject to DOT regulations who possess a valid medical certificate from a designated DOT provider, the employer shall pay for any additional physical, mental, or other examinations required by the employer to confirm the validity of the medical certificate. Section 2. Return to work examination. It is understood by the employer and the union that once an employee notifies the employer that he or she has been released to return to work by the employee's doctor, the company doctor must examine the employee within 3 working days from the time the employee brings the return to work slip to the employer. Section 3. Third doctor procedure. The employer reserves the right to select its own medical examiner or doctor, and the union may, if it believes an injustice has been done to an employee, have said employee re-examined at the employee's expense. If the 2 doctors disagree, the employer and the union shall mutually agree upon a third doctor within 10 working days, whose decision shall be final and binding on the employer, the union, and the employee. Neither the employer nor the union will attempt to circumvent the decision of the third doctor, and the expense of the third doctor shall be equally divided between the employer and the union. If the third doctor agrees that the employee should be returned to work, the employee shall be reimbursed at his or her daily guarantee, less any other monies received back to the date of the examination by the company doctor. It shall exclude any time the employee was not available for examination or work. Section 4. Disqualified driver alternative work. Except as provided for in Article 16, a driver who is judged medically unqualified to drive but is considered physically fit and qualified to perform other inside jobs will be afforded the opportunity to displace the least senior full-time or part-time inside employee at such work until he or she can return to his or her driving job unless otherwise provided for in the supplements, riders, or addenda. The employee shall receive the appropriate rate of pay for the job performed based on his or her seniority or current area of practice. If no full-time inside position is available, the employer will meet with the local union to develop a full-time position, if possible, out of available work. In addition to those already covered by this section, disqualified drivers who are actively pursuing a waiver or exemption with the DOT may work inside pursuant to the section if there is a reasonable expectation that his or her waiver/exemption will be granted. Section 5. Identification. Should the employer find it necessary to require employees to carry or record full personal identification, Such requirements shall be complied with by the employees. The cost of such personal identification shall be borne by the employer. All management personnel shall wear a name tag identifying them as supervision while on duty.